Hey everybody, welcome back. HSC Podcast 87. Big Box Steve on the mic, the Big Smooth, and Fresh West. And here we are, and getting to the later part of the football seasons, college and NFL. So we're gonna talk about a lot of that. So if you're listening on YouTube, thanks for listening. Don't forget to subscribe and like, and please leave comments. But I gotta say, I wish our YouTube following was as good as our uh Spotify following because we're growing on Spotify like crazy. So it's probably because they don't like our faces. They just like our
Yeah,
voices.
probably.
There's something happening on Spotify where we're getting tons of views. So whatever's happening on Spotify, appreciate you guys listening. Keep listening. And for the YouTube people, please like share it. Like we got to get some movement here. But whatever's happening, appreciate it. Thanks for listening. Let's get into it. And maybe it's because of our posts of when you look at the percentage of our wins, even though I felt like we're not having the best year we've had, we're still doing pretty good. I mean, I
Yeah.
think we're over 60%,
Yeah, I did my
70%
math. I
win.
was at 62%.
Yeah, so we're even if you put money line in all our games, like you're still making money, right?
Yeah.
So just follow us there. Uh, I like the trivia portion of this, and Derek, you got some trivia for us. So we're gonna do double trivia tonight. Double trivia tonight. So Derek, give us your trivia.
All right. So there's only 5 quarterbacks in NFL history that have thrown 100 touchdown passes with 2 different teams.
100 touchdown passes, two different teams, five of them. Okay. Oh, that's a tough one. Um, 100 touchdown passes, two different. Wait, 100 touchdowns total, or 200 to two
Well,
different teams
they've had over 100 touchdowns with 2 different teams.
over 100 touchdowns. And it could be split like 70-30, or what's the
No, they've had over 100 with each team.
oh with each. Whoa, okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Oh man,
That's tough.
that is tough.
100.
100 touchdowns, two different teams. All right, Wes, you go first.
Yeah.
100
Mm.
touchdowns, two different teams.
Oh, Montana, that's not.
Well,
Well,
there's
let's
two that should
see.
be super easy because they were really good with one team, went to another team, and were really good there too. And that's
Jim
from the
Plunkett.
last 10 years.
I don't know. It can't be Jim
Actually,
Plunkett.
In the last 10 years.
Oh God. I don't know.
Well, Tom Brady, no?
Peyton Manning.
Well, Peyton Manning. Peyton Manning's
Yeah.
got to be.
Yeah.
yes. Peyton Manning, Tom Brady. Yes.
Yeah, Peyton Manning, Tom Brady. So there's two of the five. 100 touchdowns, two different teams. Are they all within the last 10 years?
No, I don't. I'm trying to calculate two of them. I'm going to check when they retired.
So we got Peyton Manning, Tom Brady.
Brett Favre.
No.
No, too many different teams.
Um,
Um,
one retired in 2009. And
oh,
one retired in 2017.
oh
As
God.
So
Man.
these are
Well,
fairly
Kurt
new.
Warner. Kurt Warner.
Yes.
Heck,
Oh, Kurt Warner. Good. That's good, Wes. So that's three.
no.
Kurt Warner
These,
was Kurt Warner 2009? He retired?
yeah. Yep. So these next two are, for me, were the hardest.
Yeah.
One, because I only thought of him with one team, but he had a really good career with another team also. But through history, you don't think of him as being on more than one team.
No.
Oh, that's a tough
Older.
one.
We're talking that one's the older
That's I
70s.
mean, oh, the 70s?
Yeah.
Oh, Wes, you got to get that one. Like
Well, I mean,
that.
is it a 70s? It's not Frantarctican, is it?
Yes, it is.
It is Fran Tarkenton. Good.
Yeah, because he played for
Nice.
he went to the Vikings and then to the Giants.
Franfra.
And then back to
Wow.
the Vikings.
Yeah.
So we got four. So we got Warner, Tarkenton, Brady,
And Peyton.
Peyton, right?
This last one is kind of hilarious to me, but
Oh,
Oh man.
I'm thinking
Give us a hint.
no.
he was the number one overall pick.
Oh my God. Oh no.
It's not James Winston.
No,
Two teams. Oh,
because this one retired in 2017.
Number one overall pick, 2017, retired. Drew, no, it's not Drew Bledsoe. Oh man, this is tough.
oh, Philip. No, not Philip Rivers. He didn't play for that long.
No,
Um,
and he wasn't number one
He threw
overall
probably
pick.
100 interceptions with the Colts, not
Yeah,
touchdowns.
yeah. He might have 100 receptions.
no.
Oh man,
No. Too hard.
He
yeah.
ended his career at the same place Kurt Warner ended his career.
Oh, Carson Palmer.
Yep.
Carson.
Oh gosh,
Oh,
Carson
Carson
Palmer.
Palmer.
Oh,
Nice, dude. Yeah, right. 'Cause he
I
went down
should
in
have
the
known. He was
Cincinnati to Arizona.
our
That's
favorite.
that's a good one. That's a good one.
Carson Palmer. He didn't do it with the Raiders. He did it with the Bengals and the Cardinals, though.
Bengals Cardinals, right? I didn't realize he threw 100 touchdowns with the Cardinals. That's crazy.
Yeah, because he
They can't.
revigorated his career when he went there.
Right, right. I mean, that's good. Like, I mean, throw 100 touchdowns after you left your primary team.
Well, and
'Cause I
then
did,
the one that surprised me was I didn't realize Drew Brees didn't throw 100 for San Diego.
right. But
Yeah,
I mean, he was out of there pretty quick.
yeah.
I mean,
Well,
you
because
got to
he
play.
got
What
hurt too.
what's a good season for a quarterback is 30 touchdown passes, right? 40 is a great season. So that means you got to play 3 years.
Yeah.
Okay, so we're gonna go quarterbacks again. So we're close. Quarterbacks in colleges they went to. So we're gonna go easy to hard, or easy. I mean, maybe easy, maybe hard. And so I'll call you out here. So start with Derek, Jared Goff,
Cal.
Cal, Wes, Trevor Lawrence,
Clemson.
Derek, Aiden O'Connell,
Purdue.
Wes, Josh Dobbs,
Tennessee.
Derek. Brock Purdy.
I knew you were going to say Brock Purdy. Where did he go? So like Central Michigan or something?
No.
I know what it is.
Wes, you got the answer?
Iowa State.
Iowa
Oh,
State.
right. Okay.
So Wes is up. Wes, Jordan Love.
Utah State.
Utah State. Well done. Derek, Taylor Heineke.
Oh, God.
Wasn't he like Washington State?
Oh,
Old Dominion.
Oh.
oh my God.
Did he not play
I
for...
told you it's gonna get harder as we go.
That is, yeah.
Uh, let's see, Wes, Jim Plunkett.
Stanford.
Oh, good.
What was that? That was an easy one.
That was an easy one. I didn't know that.
Yeah.
It's hard.
We're Raider fans. We're in Plunkett went.
Derek, Brett Rippon.
Oh God.
Brett Rippon was Washington State. Oh, wait, no, Boise State.
Boise State. Good job.
Yeah.
All right. So Wes wins the
What would Chip?
the quarterback challenge.
Oh my God. All right, do we like?
I was gonna throw Josh Allen in there.
Wyoming.
Yes, Wyoming. You guys got that one?
Yeah.
Let's see. Yeah, you guys probably know all the rest of it. Derek Carr,
Fresno State.
Fresno State. Yeah, what was interesting, the reason I want to do that quarterback thing is because you look at the colleges that the NFL quarterbacks come from, and they're not a lot of these Power Fives, right? They're not a lot. You get a lot of quarterbacks from these smaller colleges.
Yeah. Well, Taylor Heineke was the hardest one. That was like,
Oh yeah, no.
if anybody knows that, yeah.
Yeah, you're pulling if you're pulling Old Dominion out, like
Yeah.
that's money. But I mean,
Well, you
look
got
at
what?
so I was gonna throw like Air McNair, right?
Alcorn State.
Alcorn State. Like you got these guys, like they came out and they're great NFL quarterbacks. They're going to Alcorn State. They're going to all these crazy colleges. So, I mean, is it really have to be these Alabamas and Ohio States and
Well, there's 6 quarterbacks right there from those two.
right?
If you count Burrow. I mean,
Which a lot of quarterbacks come from great colleges, but also a lot of quarterbacks come from small colleges.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I was just looking through like there's a lot more on there, but I was looking through quarterbacks when the college they come from, and even you talk about like Fitzmagic, right? You guys know where he came from?
I forgot. Oh, Pittsburgh? No, it was Pittsburgh. That's Pittsburgh. No. I don't know.
what was who was it?
Fitzmagic.
My internet connections keep
Yeah.
who?
Fitzmagic.
Mine keeps cutting out too. It's been
Ryan Fitzpatrick.
Harvard.
From where?
Wasn't he Harvard?
Harvard. Right.
Yeah.
So how would you guess that, a longtime NFL quarterback came from Harvard?
Yeah.
Yeah, so just looking through all those things, it's crazy to think that like you have to get your quarterback from an Alabama or an Ohio State or not Ohio State because apparently they're really bad, but
Oh,
all
CJ
these
Stroud.
right.
He's
So before we get into college football, because this is kind of a college football topic, did you guys see? I think it's Dan Orlovsky was talking about CJ Stroud went from being an MVP contender to he calls CJ Stroud the MVP leader. Did you see that?
Yeah, I saw
What do you think about it?
it. I mean, but 15 touchdowns, 2 interceptions. The problem is they're still 5-4. It's. I mean, he's having a good year, but I don't know. There's a bunch of guys that are just kind of like that are in the mix. I still like Tyreek Hill right now, but I can't say that he's the favorite. He's up there, maybe top five. But I mean,
and it's always they always want to do. I mean, he's playing well, but he lost to Bryce Young.
yeah,
He lost to the Panthers. And he didn't play particularly well in that game.
yeah.
So it is MVP more of a win-loss record or a statistical record or maybe you're just the most important person on your team.
Yeah, it's the guy. It's a lot of that, but it's the guy you can't live without.
Right.
Yeah. I mean, of course. I mean, without CJ Stroud, the Texans would have an offense, but they don't have much of an offense. I mean, they got some. They don't have great receivers. They don't have anything great at the tailback position. It's an interesting argument, but I mean, I just this I everyone.
I would go the opposite. I mean, you have Singletary and Pierce at running back. You've got the dude that was to be with the Cowboy, Dalton Schultz at tight end. You got Nico Collins, Noah Brown, guys putting up 170 yards receiving.
Tank Dell.
Yeah, Tank Dell. I mean, the only problem it's just they're not household names because they're young. But it looks, I mean, Noah Brown has put up what 150, 170 yards the last 2 weeks.
But I
Yeah,
guess the question is can you call CJ Stroud an MVP candidate?
yeah, you can. I think you can.
Candidate, yeah.
Yeah. I wouldn't jump up and down about him like being the favorite. Oh, this guy's playing so great. I mean, yeah, he's playing. He had a nice couple weeks, but you know, it's it's still halfway through the season. His interception, his touchdown to interception ratio is impressive.
That's really good.
He,
He's 101 quarterback rating on the year.
a rookie hasn't won in like 50 years since Tim Brown,
Right.
or 60 years.
So who's ahead of him? Like what are you guys' thoughts? Who's ahead of CJ Stroud right now?
Tyreek Hill.
Tyreek Hill. I
Yeah.
can see that.
Hurts.
Hurts, yeah. It hurts.
Jalen Hurts.
Probably Mahomes.
Mahomes is, yeah. Sadly, though.
I mean 15 Jalen Hurts 15 touchdowns, 8 interceptions, 97 rating. A few more 300-yard games, but not just like one more. I mean, I don't know that Jalen Hurts stats are any better than Stroud's, but his team is has a better record. How much does record come into play here? Does the team's record have a big difference in that MVP?
Um, well, it should. Yeah, it should. Because I mean, if you're just average, that means that, you know, I mean, I guess if you were, I mean, let's just say you're average and you're not on the team. Maybe you really suck, but that's not really the whole conversation about MVP. You have to have a good team to be the MVP. You know,
So you can't get MVP unless your team's a playoff team?
yeah, I would say that
Yeah.
be a playoff team.
Well, I don't disagree. I'm just, is that one of the prerequisites?
Well, if you look, I mean, just look through history. I don't know how many players won MVP and not made the playoffs.
Well, I would think the st- jeez.
I know I think that when you're looking at MVP, statistics matter, right? And I get how like overall record matters too, but isn't it most valuable player in the NFL?
Yeah, but most valuable player in the NFL, if you're a team is losing a bunch of games, you're not that valuable, are you?
Right.
And then also you
So
got to be the thing would be like look at Jalen Hurts plays a number one, division winner schedule. Well, the Texans have a lot easier schedule,
right.
right?
Okay, so well let's wrap the MVP schedule up with who's your MVP right now? If you got to choose MVP, what are you guys choosing?
I'm going with Tyreek Hill still.
Let's go with Tyreek Hill.
I don't know. No one's really stood out this year. I mean, Hill has, but no receiver ever wins. But
Yeah, it's tough to pick a receiver.
yeah, I'll just go. I'm going to go Hill too because he's on pace to break the, receiving record, right? So
Yeah, I'm gonna stay right now with Hurts. I'm gonna go with Jalen Hurts. His touchdown to interception ratio isn't the best, but they're winning games, and I think he's a big part of that. So
Everything runs through him. That's
right.
the it's
So
he's like a point guard in a sense. He's
yeah.
run, the way he runs, I could see that. He'd be my second right now.
Yeah, I'm gonna go with Jalen Hurts in that. But it's an interesting conversation right now because one of the things they're talking about is the parity in the NFL. Like they haven't had parity like this in a long time.
well, I would say if ifs and buts and candies and nuts, but if the Texans make the playoffs and Stroud, you know, has like a 30 touchdowns to like 4 interceptions, then yes, you could give him the MVP because then he'd be like turnaround and all this things
Right.
happening and looking good.
And making the
It's
playoffs
still
is a
always too
huge thing
early,
for them. If the Texans made the playoffs this year, what a turnaround that would be.
especially in the AFC. If you look at
Yeah,
the AFC,
it's tough. So, I mean, I could see the argument for that. It was just it was a little, I don't know, maybe it's a little mind blowing for me to hear them talk about Stroud in the MVP conversation. And then on top of that, for them to say he's the leading candidate. That was tough for me.
Well, all those talking heads are going to do that because Hurts, Mahomes, Tua, Hill were all on buys.
Right.
So they're like, just whatever the recency bias is, they're going to go with.
No, it's yeah.
All right. Well, let's jump into last week's college football because yeah, I mean, obviously we want to catch back up on college football, but what a week. So, I mean, big games. Ohio State obviously killed Michigan State, but the Georgia Ole Miss game, 52-17. I don't know that I expected that, but does that kind of solidify Georgia stopping a really good offensive team and scoring a lot at the same time? I mean, Mrs. Ole Miss's defense isn't great, obviously, but holding them to 17. What do you think about Georgia at this point? Getting Brock Bowers back.
Right. Well, they are number one again. The college football playoff standings come out, which is so ridiculous. It's like, we're going to do a bunch of reactions on this. And I'm like, it's like, who cares? We know, Washington's not in the top four. Yeah, if they win out, they will be. I mean,
Right.
Yeah. Georgia's number one. They just shut down Mississippi. But again, it was just they hadn't really played anybody. But again, you just see they have the best overall team in the country. They're 3 deep,
Well,
and Carson Beck was the question mark, but he's starting to
he
to
kind of
show.
answered. Yeah, he answered that call, right? Well, is there a better offense than Ole Miss in the other outside of the SEC?
Well,
oh,
outside
Like,
this.
is Ole Miss has got a great offense, right? And Georgia shut them down. So, is there an offense outside the SEC that can come in, like maybe it's give it Washington or Michigan or Ohio State or Oregon? Are these teams that could come in and give a better offense than Ole Miss?
I mean, technically, yeah, Ohio State could because they got Henderson. They got a couple backs that are just they, they could take it to the house anytime. You got Marvin Harrison Jr. Ohio State always has good skill guys. I mean, but yeah, it's you know, I don't know.
yeah. I mean, it's hard to say Oregon because they destroyed them last year, but this is a new year without Stetson Bennett. The skill players for Oregon, you have Franklin, but you know, yeah, I'm not.
Well, I guess the question is that if Georgia can come out and beat and shut down a great offense like Ole Miss to 17 points and score 52 at the same time, is there a team out there that can offensively come out and be better than what Ole Miss is? And
Well, I don't know if you have to be better offensively than Ole Miss is. You just play better defense. Ole Miss has no defense. I mean, come on.
right, but they still only scored 17 though.
Well, when you're down by a lot, you can play one dimensional. And honestly, Lane Kiffin is super overrated. I mean, what has he done in big games ever?
No, he's all about drawing up. He's an offensive coordinator. He's done well at times, but he's been with really good teams. But by himself, yeah, he hasn't really done. He hasn't won anything yet.
Right.
And they don't have the players that Georgia does. No, nobody does. Except like Ohio State and Michigan, I think they got some players that could shut down Georgia to a certain extent, and it would be a more of a defensive matchup. Because I still think if you apply pressure to Carson Beck, he's probably not going to be he's not going to be an effective quarterback, and he'll probably make mistakes. And that's your only chance to beating them is to apply pressure to Carson Beck and see if he turns the ball over.
Yeah,
And that
which
could
I mean, he didn't
position.
have the greatest game, right? I mean, he's threw 300 yards, but 2 touchdowns, interception. But when you're talking about, I don't know. So the reason I asked the question is because I really feel like Ole Miss has a good offense, and to hold them to 17 points, yeah, I get it that you're Georgia and you have a great defense. But anytime you're holding a team like Ole Miss to 17 points, like you're doing well.
Oh yeah, it's Georgia. I mean, yeah.
So what happens when a team like Oregon or Ohio State comes in? Are they going to score more than
Well,
17? Are they going to score more than Ole Miss?
well, here you kind of answered your own question because you don't have to go outside the SEC. You go to Alabama. Alabama held Mississippi to 10 points.
I don't want to play Alabama right now if I'm anybody because Rose is he's Alabama looks strong on offense. That's going to be quite a game when they play each other. George will be
Yeah.
lucky with a win.
Yeah, that's going to be a good SEC championship. Like one of the better you've seen in a while. So Michigan, Penn State, right? Great game.
Yeah.
Obviously, Michigan's the top four. Penn State, even with the loss, they were at 10. Uh, I don't know if you guys watched this game, but probably the most boring game you could ever watch.
Well, again, Penn State fired their offensive coordinator. It's like, oh, that's the problem. I swear I did not see Penn State once run motion at all on offense.
Right.
It's like you're gonna beat a team like Michigan and you're gonna play them that stale, that straight up, that you guys don't have a lot of speed on the outside and you don't run any motion. You guys are idiots. And so they fired the offensive coordinator, but that comes from the top. I don't care. Like any one of us would be like, no, screw that. You're not doing that. You're not going to just sit out there and we're just going to run 5 wide and not move anybody since they couldn't even break a press.
Well, what do you think about how Michigan played against Penn State versus how Ohio State played against Michigan or Penn State? What's the eye test there? Like, did Michigan play them better? Did Ohio State play them better? How does that uh, like come up to the Michigan Ohio State
Well,
game?
the thing early is Michigan, I think, kind of they're going to come out throwing the ball. And I think they just said, why are we doing this? We could just run the ball whenever we want on these guys. So in the
50
second
times.
half, they didn't even throw a pass.
No, they didn't. 50 over 50 runs, right?
Yeah. It's just stupid. Like the way they and you know what's funny about Corum? Blake Corum is one of my favorite players. Dude, I swear he broke his nose. He's playing with a broken nose.
Did you see his after his interview?
Yeah. Yeah, yeah, there's a lot of blood there.
Literally has a broken nose.
It's like, dude, come on, dude. You're like Larry Zonka now, dude. Like instant legend right there. Playing with a broken nose.
So this is the first time for me when I watched these teams play that I thought Ohio State played better against Penn State than Michigan did.
No,
So after watching the Ohio State Penn State game, Michigan Penn State game, who looks better, Ohio State or Michigan?
I just think Penn State looks overrated. That's all I get. I mean, it's hard to tell. I mean, at the eye
Plus,
test,
Michigan didn't have their head coach.
Right. That's a problem too, right? So if you have to pick right now, so Ohio State, Michigan, who's winning?
um, I'm gonna go with Michigan just because they're playing at home. I would say if Ohio State was playing at home, I think Ohio State would win. It's just a
You're
matter
you
of
you you're take Michigan at home. What are you taking, Derek?
I'm going to take Ohio State. I know it's the home, but Marvin Harrison Jr. and the receivers that Ohio State have, that's a lot to deal with.
yeah, it's a coin flip. It really is. It's just and it's the problem also is Michigan has been dominating. And you think at some point, especially you want to start keeping jobs, you got to beat Michigan. And this is the year you beat them. You
Right.
know,
No, you have to do it, right?
you can't
This is
just
it.
lose three in a row to
Yeah,
Harvard.
yeah. If you lose this game, yeah, it's tough. Uh, I mean, I'll throw mine in there. I'm gonna go Ohio State at this point. After watching Michigan, and I get that Harbaugh wasn't there, but after watching Michigan and the way they played Ohio State and the way Ohio State played Penn State, I think I'm gonna go with Ohio State at this point. So that mean that's tough fun. We'll see how Michigan pulls out of that. So next week, let's get into this next week of college football. Georgia plays Tennessee. I think that's a big game. Tennessee is maybe on a little bit downside, still number one, number 18. I think that helps Georgia's resume, right?
Washington, Oregon State. That's the game of the week.
Yeah. What do you think about that game? Give
Well,
us
it
your
could
insight.
torpedo.
Like, yeah, I know who I want to win, but
Yeah. Well, Derek, what's your insight there? Like, what's the in and outs of that game? Who's gonna win? What makes the difference?
Well, it's at Oregon State, so that's big. And I kind of feel like, we just had today the judge ruled in favor of the Pac-2 to keep all the money. So that's hilarious.
Right.
And I just think it's, Oregon State is basically like Utah, right? I mean,
Great defense.
great defense, great running game, competent, good quarterback. They score a lot of points. They have the fourth best turnover differential in the nation. So they don't turn the ball over and they get turnovers. They're plus 10. Washington's -1.
Right.
yeah,
So I feel like what Oregon State has is they're good at everything, not great. You know what I mean? Whereas Washington's great on offense, but their defense is lacking.
But if Washington loses this game, it still doesn't matter, right?
Well, kind of. I mean, if Washington loses, then you lose the luster for Washington and Oregon to, let's say, Alabama beats Georgia.
Right. Or Texas
Or Texas wins out, right?
wins out, right?
So then, like, because Oregon needs Washington to be undefeated,
And
and
then beat them.
Washington needs Oregon to have only one loss for them to make it in the top four.
Right. So what you're saying is this is a big game for Washington because if they lose this game and then even if they beat Oregon in the Pac-12 championship, it doesn't look as good.
Right? Because Oregon State's gonna beat Oregon. So
That's that. Wow, that's big.
I mean, the thing about
Oregon State's going to be Oregon.
that could have problems is Oregon State, I think, can run the ball more
Oh
effectively.
yeah,
More and they're going to do it more often than other teams will, and they just might run it down their throat.
right.
And that could really throw even their offense into flux where they're not used to this type of just tempo. Oregon
Yeah,
State.
slow the tempo. And
Yeah.
Oregon State, their running game can definitely slow the tempo.
Yeah. And so that's gonna be interesting.
So actually, Oregon State beating Washington here, which I actually think Oregon State's going to win this game. So if I'm going to call an upset right now, I'm saying Oregon State beats Washington this week. That's my call. And I think that hurts the Pac-12 as far as playoff implications.
oh, yeah.
Because you got Florida State, right, who's going to be undefeated. You've got Iowa State, Michigan, who plays, they're going to stay undefeated until they play each other. So one of them has to go. And then even that, one of them still only has one loss.
Right.
Right. And then Alabama, the way they're playing, even if they beat Georgia, you can't leave Georgia out with one loss.
Can't do it.
Well, especially if it's like a last second field goal or something,
Or
right?
it doesn't even matter. They're the two-time champion. You're gonna leave the two-time champion out?
No. It's
With one loss?
No.
I'm not. I
can't.
Well,
whatever you want to see around with Georgia with one loss. Look, you've won back-to-back championships. You lost one game this year. You're not going to be in the playoffs.
But if you're Texas, you're like, well, I beat Alabama, who just beat Georgia, and you're going to let Georgia stay in when I beat the team.
But who did Texas lose to?
Different. Yeah,
Oklahoma game.
Right, and so those things are ridiculous. What I say is when you're the two-time champion and you have one loss, you have more right regardless.
Right.
It's like leaving Muhammad Ali out because he got knocked out one time, Like you can't do that. You can't leave Georgia out from one loss. So Georgia, if Alabama comes in and beats them, could knock out whatever team, comes in also in with one loss.
Yeah. And what sucks about the whole, let's just say somehow Oregon State wins the tiebreaker. They get to
Oh yeah.
And then
two losses.
You know what sucks about the whole thing?
Oh, dude.
They're not making the
No.
What's even worse is they're not even making the Rose Bowl.
No, not with two losses.
Semifinal is in the Rose Bowl.
Right.
1 year they win the Pac-12. They haven't been there since 1965, and they can't even go to the Rose Bowl. There's no consolation prize. Sucks.
Yeah, that's tough. So, I mean, there's a lot of good weeks coming up, and we don't know what's going to happen. And as we see this play out, that should be. I think college football for me right now is way more exciting than NFL.
Oh yeah.
NFL is very I mean, it's equal. There's a lot of what we thought would be good teams or not good teams, and you just don't know who's going to win in the NFL right now.
Another
any given Sunday.
the
Yeah.
the defenses have caught up with the offenses this year.
A little bit. Yeah.
It's lowest scoring. It's been the lowest scoring first half of the seasons in 14 years. So
you think that has to do with the linebackers getting faster? A lot more speed on the defense than there used to be.
Someone said, it might have been Dan Alboski or whatever. He said, over the last couple years, they're figuring out how to stop this sort of spread offenses.
Right. Quick throws.
Yeah. So that's part of it.
Well, I think it's also the changing of the guard. We don't have the great quarterbacks anymore right now.
Yeah, I agree with that too. I think we've lost a lot of good quarterbacks.
I mean, Jimmy G.
That's who you're going for. You'd rather go with Aiden O'Connell.
Yeah. Well, we thought we got Jimmy G, but ended up with Jimmy INT. So,
let's jump into NFL.
Just
yeah, go ahead.
The last was 7.
Oh, what'd you say, Derek?
Oh, I was gonna say from Jimmy Garoppolo.
I mean, you could have Danny DeVito.
Garoppolo played like 4 games.
You could have Danny DeVito. So
yeah, that's true.
So let's talk about Cody. Let's talk about NFL Week 10. Wasn't the greatest week for us. 7-7 West. I was 8-6. Derek 9-5. Like, we've obviously done better. Looking at the big games, I think the Cincinnati-Houston game sticks out the most for me. I thought Cincinnati would win that game handily. But obviously they didn't. And then I think we probably all had Cincinnati, right?
Yeah. Yeah, I'm not too shocked just because I think Cincinnati's starting to accumulate injuries on the outside. I don't think Chase was right, and I don't think T. Higgins is not going to play this week. So he got hurt. Burrow looked uncomfortable, I think.
I mean, Stroud threw for 356.
No.
MVP.
Right. I mean, that's tough, dude. I know Cincinnati's defense isn't that great, but Singletary rushes for 150. Stroud throws for 356. That's not bad. Minnesota beats New Orleans. And Josh Dobbs. Yeah. Josh Dobbs looks like almost a quarterback.
Dude, he's a rocket scientist, man.
He's a rocket scientist.
Doesn't matter. He's 3 steps ahead of everybody.
But you know what I didn't know, and which this is probably my fault on just because Minnesota is on a 5-game winning streak.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And 6 of their last 7.
Yeah. They're positioning themselves there to, I mean, like I said, they're kind of under the radar.
Right.
I mean, every week it's the Cowboys. Cowboys beat the Giants, and let's talk about how Dak Prescott is an all-time great Cowboy quarterback. Are you effing kidding me? Like, you beat the Giants, and all of a sudden we don't talk about any other team but the Cowboys. So no one really knows. Like, I forgot that they won 5 games, and they got a streak going here.
Well, Minnesota's 6-4. Which, if you took out Justin Jefferson and Kirk Cousins and you said Minnesota's 6-4 right now.
Yeah. Yeah, they're playing good. And in NFC, you know what? It's crapshoot. I don't care. And it's no one's really, you know, you know,
So I don't think there was a lot of other surprises. I think the Cleveland Baltimore game was probably the only other surprise. What a finish to that game. Did you guys see that?
I missed it. No, that's it.
I mean, Cleveland winning winning the
Yeah.
last second
Well,
field
that was
goal.
like half the games yesterday or
Ugh.
last week was ending on a last second field goal.
Right.
Yeah. NFL history, 6 game-winning field goals, most in the history in one.
Yeah.
I didn't expect Cleveland to beat Baltimore. That was probably the biggest surprise of the week.
Well, they were what, up 14?
Right.
14.
No, the most ridiculous one was how bad the Bills played.
Oh God.
Well, so I mean, we got to talk about that. So let's finish up the recap of week 10 with the Bills Denver game. And just to put it out there, right? Denver's 4-5.
Yeah.
Yeah, their defense is coming around.
Coming around. But this game, and I'm not going to blame you can't blame Denver, like they're just playing the game. But what a finish. Like could you handle losing like that?
Oh,
And then it's like, oh, we're gonna fire Ken Dorsey. Yeah, he's the reason why your special teams had too many men on the field.
no, and you could blame the special teams coach all you want. That comes down to the coach.
Yeah.
You should be in communication with your special teams guy, saying, "Look, they're gonna have to run off the field. That means we're not gonna have much time to get our guys on. So be ready. Can't do a head count." Like that was idiotic.
See, I might be naive, but I want to know, like, who's this dude? Like, am I on special teams in practice? Do I do this all the time? It's like, why am I out?
Like high school.
That's the point, dude. It's like you know what your job is.
We never had that problem because we were always on the field.
But even if you're at like your office, right? Like that's your job.
It is.
That's your job. Like there should be absolutely no reason they had 12 men on the field.
No.
And so realistically, Buffalo should have won that game.
Well,
Yeah, really? They should have called a timeout.
Right. Why not? Even call a timeout. But the point is like it's mental mistakes that will lose games for you. And that's the epitome of mental mistakes in this game.
Well, and that's what, I've been saying that for 2 years. Once Dayball left,
Right.
you've learned that McDermott is not that great of a coach.
No, right. He just had good staff around him.
Yeah, I mean, you had Leslie Frazier and Dayball.
Right.
And he ran both of them out.
Yep.
Yeah, it's
well, I mean, I don't know if he ran them out, like they just got opportunities.
Well, Dayball did. Frazier, he ran out.
Right.
He's a good game prepper. He's very good at setting up everything for how you should, during the week. But on the fly, he doesn't seem like that great of a coach to make it. He doesn't make adjustments very well. And
But reality is could you have bet that Buffalo would be at 5-5 right now?
Not 5-5.
No.
I mean,
hell, no way. No way. You could never have guessed Buffalo at 5-5 right now. Like that, I mean that it's crazy. And then for them to lose to Denver,
yeah,
Who gave up 70 to Miami.
Yeah.
70 Miami.
Talk
All
about
right.
turn.
Well, let's get into our picks. HSC podcast picks. Week 11. You guys ready for this? We got Thursday night football, Cincinnati at Baltimore. Derek, why don't you lead us off?
The Ravens are favored by 3.5. They're at home. Like Wes mentioned earlier, Higgins is not playing. Chase is banged up. I guess they're both. I mean, the Ravens are coming up more embarrassing because they had that game in hand. So I'm taking the Ravens though. I think they have a bounce back. They're at home. And I think the Bengals are just hurting again. It's like they can't stay healthy. So I got the Ravens. I don't think they cover. I have them by 3.
What you got, Wes?
Yeah, I got Baltimore here because on one hand, Baltimore, I think they knew they just blew that game. They're still playing good offensively. I think they're going to open things up against Cincinnati, and I think Cincinnati's just going to struggle to keep up. So I got Baltimore by 5.
Well, game number 1. We got a swing game. This is a must win for Cincinnati. Banged up or not, injuries or not. Like, if you don't win this game, you might as well just pack it in. So I think if I'm a coach and any good coach comes out and expresses that in practice and pregame and film session and says, look, guys, if we don't win, our season's done. And so I think Cincinnati comes out and responds to that and wins this game. Got Cincinnati by 7. So for a swing game on Thursday night.
What do I know?
Let's see.
Jaguars.
Yeah, might as
Did I
well.
just reiterate that? I think the audience knows.
Did I just sound like I picked the
Everybody's clapping
Jags?
at home.
Did I just sound like I picked the
Why
Jags? It might have been a Jags San Francisco pick, but we'll see. Pittsburgh at Cleveland, Wes.
Oh, my favorite, Cody Pickett. At Cleveland. Oh, they are
Go Cody.
is going to maul Cody Pickett. It's going to be a mauling. The dog pound is going to reemerge on the field after Cody Pickett. I don't even think. I mean, of course, the Steelers' defense is going to be a factor. It's going to be an ugly game, but I will take the Browns by 10.
I agree. It'd probably be the biggest defensive battle you'll see all year. I think these are two of the best defenses. But at home, I think Cleveland also wins in a shootout of 6-9.
And Pickett gets shot like 10 times.
6-9. Cody Pickett dies, and Cleveland wins by 3. What do you got there?
I saw this stat. I should have taken a screenshot because it was kind of hilarious. Because I was like, well, what is let's get the whole story. And it was something about like so many, like, out of all the quarterbacks that qualify, there's 32 quarterbacks that qualified. Like, Pickett is the only one that has under 4 interceptions. That's because he's got 6 touchdowns, 4 interceptions, 1,600 yards passing.
Right.
He's had his highest total is 235 yards. When they played Cleveland, he had 222 with 1 touchdown, 1 interception. I feel like even though he's gotten worse also, but he's still better. I'm taking the Browns because Sean Watson's better than Pickett. And it's one of those sad things where it's like, but the Steelers, I can't believe. See, that's why Mike Tomlin is one of the greatest coaches of all time. They're like in the playoff hunt
Right.
with that
With
quarterback.
Pickett, yeah.
Where the Jets with Zach Wilson are outside looking in with their historically great defense, right?
Right. Yeah, I agree. I mean, I think it's a lot to be said about Tomlin.
Yeah, it is. And they've been, I mean, Pittsburgh's been outgained almost every game.
Right.
Every they've won,
They're still winning.
Yeah, it's crazy. But then we all picked the Browns. So, but what do we?
So we're all taking the Browns, even though the Pittsburgh's on a 2-game winning streak. Oh man. All right. Well, Chicago at Detroit. Of course, it's me.
Let's get crazy, Steve.
No, let's not get crazy. Let's just say Detroit's a better team. It kind of doesn't matter what Chicago does here. Like it's time to just turn it in. It's a wrap. Like you're not making the playoffs. Like Detroit's solid. I like watching Detroit. I think they're doing well. I think it's gonna be a close game though, because Bears don't give up. They just like to lose close games. So I got Detroit by 6.
Lions are favored by 10, and I got them winning by 14. They got Montgomery back, Montgomery with Gibbs, because now with Montgomery being hurt, Gibbs had to carry the load, and now he's more experienced. So now that is a two-headed monster. You've got Williams, you've got Laporta, you've got St. Brown. That Lions offense is legit. So Bears are, it's Field starting, is Banjan starting? What's going on? We don't know. So yeah, I'm taking the Lions by 14.
Yeah. It's the whole Bears, let's keep it a secret, or let's really surprise people. Well, the one surprise that there's no surprise how bad they are. I don't think they need to I think they just need to shut Fields down at this point. After this game, they probably will, because I think they're gonna get blitzed. So I got Detroit by 20.
Jesus. That's brutal.
Steve's drinking this weekend.
Yeah. It's probably
You and Lions guy, you guys can hang out, man.
right. I might have to go down there and just like hang out with him and be like, you know what, my team's losing, but you still lost in the end, buddy.
We already said Lions guys never going back to that bar. So there's gonna be a have you seen him? Like
no.
It's gonna be like a wanted poster.
Dude, you know he'll be there, dude. He'll be like, so you're saying there's a chance. All right. Well, let's see. Chargers at Green Bay. Derek, what do you got?
I gotta take the Chargers here. Jordan Love is horrible. How are you gonna take the Packers? Come on, man. Chargers are only favored by 3. That's probably because their head coach is a moron. But the Chargers are going to win by 10. Packers need to pack it in.
Yeah.
What do you think, Wes?
Yeah, I mean, I think the Jordan Love experiment kind of blew up in their face.
Failed.
Big time fail. And I think Chargers are playing good. Yeah, Chargers 13 by 13.
Yeah, I'm gonna say it's in Green Bay, so I'm not gonna go as deep. I think Chargers by 7. Just because Chargers are not gonna like to play in Green Bay at any time of year. So still think Chargers win, but a little closer. Let's see. Oh, here you go, Wes. Vegas at Miami.
Oh, my two favorite teams playing
That's
1964.
that's
Actually,
funny.
yeah, it's like Greasy versus Stabler.
All right.
Yeah, I'm taking the Dolphins because they're playing at home field advantage. I just think reality kind of sets back in a little. I think the Rares keep it close till the end. Say Dolphins by 8.
I think this is a trap game for the Dolphins. I really wanted to pick the Raiders here because there's no substitute for momentum and the the what's happening in the locker room and the excitement, and you see it in the players' faces. But it's hard to beat Miami in Miami.
Yeah,
And I think Vegas could win this game, but I can't tell our listeners to choose them. So I'm taking Miami.
Mad Max is coming for Tua.
Yeah,
That's the only thing. He is coming
right.
to him.
Just their whole team, like
Yeah.
the level of excitement and enthusiasm and momentum that they have, that's tough to beat. I don't care how good your team is, what level of players you have or how good they are. The a basic average player with great momentum and really just enthusiasm can play better than an all pro.
And
So,
and besides the Philadelphia and Jets game, that Raiders Jets game was the most physical game I've seen all year.
right. Yeah.
It's a
But
physical ball game.
I'm gonna still go with the mad scientist. I'm still gonna take Miami because it's at home. But I think the Raiders could win this game. You got Derek.
This one was like 12-point underdogs, Raiders.
That's
Yeah.
too
That's
much.
kind of
12's not.
ridiculous.
Yeah.
Uh, I was thinking the same thing. Oh, the Raiders got momentum. This is prime. Josh Jacobs, he's now third in the league in rushing. Who would have
Wow.
thought?
Wow. Oh my God.
I mean, he went from like not even being around to now he's third in the league in rushing.
Right.
He's even saying before this I was not coming back. Now I kind of want to come back. So he's invested. And that's what you need to do against Miami. Run the ball down their throats and time of possession. And their defense plays the right kind of defense because they don't give up big plays. They're more of a soft coverage, not letting you get huge plays on them, big chunk plays. But it's just the Dolphins are coming off a bye. So you gotta I wouldn't be surprised if the Raiders could actually pull off this upset because it wouldn't be that crazy the way they're playing. And if they did, then you gotta stamp Antonio Pierce as being the head coach.
Right.
If they win this game, he has to come back. But I got the Dolphins winning by 6.
I mean, I don't think so. Here's the problem I have with this interim coach policy, all this. Like, I think you already have to stamp at Pierce, right? Why not? Why would you not be like, let's give him 2, 3 years?
Right?
Well, I mean,
Well, I want to see what he does the rest of the season because it's all fun and games at the beginning, like the first 2 games.
yeah.
But once you start, now they have a tough road. I mean, you have Dolphins, Chiefs, then I think you're bye, and then you end with you have the Chargers, Chiefs, Colts, Broncos.
Yeah,
Um,
it's nice now. It's a great story for a couple weeks. See what happens. I mean, that's the thing. I think defensively they found something. That's what I'm more excited.
Right.
The way their defense is flying to the ball. They're getting turnovers. They look like they're having fun for once. Like Crosby is just an animal right now.
He's always been Hannibal, though.
Oh, but 3 sacks against the
Right.
Giants, and he's just
But
I mean,
here's the question, though. Like for both of you, all of you, like the same thing I'm thinking. Don't you think, like, I don't know, maybe this is just me, but I've always, I would always, my preference will always be to have my coach be a player. Like, why wouldn't I want to my coach be Antonio Pierce? Why wouldn't I want that versus say a Josh McDaniels?
Or versus, Mike McDaniel on the other side, right?
Or
I mean,
it doesn't matter. Like I would rather play for someone who played the game.
well, what if they played in college or in high school? I mean,
Well, I mean, okay. Well, I'll say a professional player or a good professional player.
well, I mean, did Andy Reid or Belichick or
No, I'm not saying they're bad coaches. I'm just saying my preference. My
right?
preference. I would, if you said, here's your coach, Andy Reid, Bill Belichick, Antonio Pierce, I would still pick Antonio Pierce. I still would.
well, if I, yeah, if I didn't have the brains, if I didn't have those 5 or 6 guys that I couldn't get those guys, of course I'd rather have a player because you can always get those guys and get them as coordinators.
Right.
You can get the brains, but yeah, if I couldn't get the head guys, yeah, I would want a player like him. Like he's been
Well,
And he's a beast of a player, right?
he's
On
been
top of that,
he's been to war. Let's put it that way.
right.
It's
well, I would not per se. Player is great, but I just want someone who can motivate and be, and that's the thing is like Pierce, Dan Campbell, they're
Right.
real.
Dude, Dan Campbell can't call a play to save his life.
yeah.
What Dan Campbell is a motivator. He's a player. He's a great head coach, but he's got good offense coordinator. He's got good defense coordinator. He's got people behind him, right?
Been
But
in the trenches.
the
And that's
team's not the same without that good quality coach.
and I think players
Get a great quality coach, and then go find yourself some smart coordinators.
yeah, there's different ways to do it. It's a different way that Campbell's doing it, and I think other organizations are saying, you know what, why don't we get a guy that's been in the trenches? The
Right.
players are going to respond and respect him versus a dude that hasn't been there. There's different ways to do it. This is kind of like everyone's learning, like just kind of watching and observing Campbell and maybe Pierce and saying, you know what, this is a different way you can do it here. This is,
None of those guys respected Josh McDaniels. Come on,
what? Yeah, that's an
none
understatement.
of them. None of them.
Understatement.
Well, the problem is thinking, and this is why it irritates me so much, is he didn't learn anything. The Patriot way only works in New England. And you know why? Because that was Belichick and Brady. It wasn't anyone else.
Right.
It was those two. And so you can't duplicate what they had.
No, because they didn't have Brady.
And then that's even, if you talk about this, when Brady went to the Bucks, he was so happy, right?
Right.
He was out there, he was wasted on the boat, and it's like
boat ride.
Yeah, throwing the Super Bowl
still
trophy
won a
across.
championship, dude. Like this, like yeah, that dude. You still won a championship. Like you left there, and everybody's like, "Oh, it's all about this," and you still go win a championship. Yeah, he had a lot of parts. Don't. That's not wrong.
It was a
But
smart move.
It was
right.
he was very calculated where he went.
He calculated.
Yeah. Oh, he knew. He knew exactly where he had to go to win. Yeah, that's crazy. But the whole part about the Raiders right now, it's a dangerous thing to be within that new coach with that new fire, right? I don't care. Miami's great, but I think it's a dangerous thing for anybody to play the Raiders right now.
Right. And then with the whole interim thing, for me, it's not about what his ending record is. It's what I see when
Right.
they play. And so, like, because they got Dolphins and the Chiefs twice. That could be 3 losses easy, right? But
Well, we'll see what happens.
yeah, I need to see the
I don't think they'll lose all those games, to be honest with you. I don't think they go 0-4 there. So we'll see what happens. All right, well let's get on to the the game of the week. The Giants at the Commanders.
Oh, there's
I don't even know what I have here. Let me see what I got. Oh, I got the Commanders. I got the Commanders by 3 in the worst football game you've ever seen in your life. So I'm taking the Commanders.
oh okay.
What do you got,
Okay.
Derek?
the Commanders are favored by 10. And you know why?
Because
They
the
have
Giants, the Giants have to be the worst team you've ever seen, ever.
I don't know, the Patriots are pretty bad too. But Sam Howell leads the NFL in passing yards.
Right? That's crazy.
So yeah,
I
they
saw that.
almost
MVP. There we go.
No, right. Who's your MVP? Sam
they
Howell.
almost beat Seattle in Seattle. So I'm gonna take
Oh,
the Commanders. Even after
yeah.
getting rid of their 2 DNs, they're still in games.
No, they're doing it.
Poor Danny
All right.
DeVito.
Danny DeVito is going down.
No, come on, guys. Stand DeVito.
Oh, what are you taking, Wes?
Dude, I think it's gonna be a close game. I think it's gonna come down to Danny DeVito on the last drive, and he's gonna go about 20 yards and throw an interception. The game will be over. So, yeah, I got the Commanders by 3 too.
Yeah. All right. Well, Derek, Jesus. Dallas at Carolina.
Oh,
What
I
do
am
you got?
surprised. Oh, I guess it's because it's at Carolina, but the Cowboys are only favored by 10.5.
Jeez, I'll take
So
that.
the difference between the Cowboys and the Panthers in 10.5, but the Raiders Dolphins is 12.
Right.
Yeah,
That's
I'm picking
crazy.
the Cowboys by about 21 in this game.
Yeah, at least. What do you got, Wes?
well, I got the Cowboys because they have a historically great quarterback, one of the best Cowboys of all time, and Dak Prescott.
You're just doing it, dude.
And yeah, I mean those wins, piling up the wins, got some momentum beating the Giants, and they're gonna beat Carolina here, and we're gonna hear about just how great Dak is. So I think they're gonna win by 17.
I mean, I know, dude. I mean, I got him by 14.
Yeah.
I mean, it could be worse. It could be a lot worse.
I
This
was
could be
I
a
was
could be a 40-point game.
I was actually rooting for the Cowboys because I took the points, the 17, my 14 parlay, which I won the first 3 games, and I lost the Bills.
Dude, I don't even want to
Lost
talk.
the Bills.
The Bills game is the worst game I've seen in a long time.
Oh,
But
your Raiders.
yeah, I got Dallas here by a lot. I don't think there's a question here. So West Tennessee at Jacksonville.
We'll have to pick Jacksonville. Like, yeah.
Coming off a loss.
Oh my God. Yeah, I am gonna pick. I'm not gonna pick Tennessee. So I think Tennessee will lose by about 7.
Yeah, I mean, I agree. I think Jacksonville wins by at least 10. They're at home. Tennessee looks average. I don't think they're terrible, but I think Jacksonville, after the 49ers loss, is going to come back and be like, regroup themselves at home. They've been on a long road trip, 6 of their last 7 games, and they still were winning. They lost a tough game to the 49ers, but they're going to kill Tennessee. I don't think it's close. At least 10.
Since Steve picked up Will Levis in fantasy football, he hasn't thrown a touchdown pass.
Of course.
Yeah, Will Levis has 0 touchdowns and 2 interceptions in his last 2 games. It's kind of like once you found, it's like, oh, wow, he was good when no one knew who, and no one had any game film on him, but now he's not that great. Yeah, I'm taking the Jags. It's at home. They're coming off that 49ers loss. Everyone's talking Trevor Lawrence isn't any good. I got the Jags by 10.
All in agreement there. Arizona at Houston at home with the MVP apparently, like according to Dan Orlovsky, the leader in MVP race, CJ Stroud. Arizona's not playing bad. I don't think it's a quarterback thing. I think they play well, but on the road at Houston, I'm going to take Houston by a touchdown.
Not so fast, Dan Orlovsky.
Not so fast.
The CJ Stroud's not going to be paired for this Arizona Cardinals defense and the return of Kyler Murray and James Conner. Cards winning 2 straight here, beating the Texans in Houston by 3.
I'm going to take the Texans, but I think it's going to be close. They're going to win on a last-second field goal. Who knows? I've clouded my vision as very clouded.
Well, is this a swing game?
That's right.
It is.
I picked up one last week taking the Cards. I'm going to pick up another.
I don't think you're going to win this one, but maybe you will. Maybe you will. At Houston, you're taking Arizona, huh?
Yeah.
All right. All right, Wes. Tampa at San Francisco. Tough one.
Tampa at San Francisco. Yeah, I'm taking San Francisco just because they're better than Tampa, and Baker's not having a bad year. I just think that the Bose is coming for him. Bose has probably seen so many Baker Mayfield commercials. He probably has nightmares about him. He's going to just wreck Baker Mayfield. We'll never do a commercial again.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know that Tampa can win this game. I think San Francisco is healthy again at home. And they got something to prove. So I got San Francisco easily by 13.
Well, Baker's kind of banged up. The spread is 11. Tampa has to go to the Niners. It's a different type of climate, different type of weather. Not nice and sunny. It's going to be windy and cold. So yeah, I'm taking the Niners by 14. Plus, yeah, the whole Chase Young and Bosa thing. Gonna wreak havoc on them.
Oh yeah, Baker might be dead by the end of the game. Can't need the Jets at Buffalo. It's almost like picking the Bears. Like I can't keep picking Buffalo, but I can't not pick them. So at home, Buffalo. I guess it's not that far from the Jets. Not really super home game, but Buffalo has to win this game. You have to win this game. So I got to take Buffalo by 6.
But the Jets have to win this game also.
But they're the Jets.
Yeah. The Jets, but Josh Allen throws 100 million interceptions. We're going to see what they can do with the offensive, see how different the offense is going to be. It's hard. Yeah, I have to take the Bill. Like you said, do I want to take the Bills? No. Do I think 7-point spread is high? Yes, because the Jets will keep it close. That's how they always do. We saw what they did with the Raider game. It was, they've done it with every team. And they already beat the Bills once.
Jeez.
But I'm taking the Bills by like 3.
What do you got, Wes?
Yeah, the Bills have to win the game. I just think when you say Josh Allen versus Zach Wilson, it's like 2 + 2 = 4. I'm going Josh Allen by 4.
I'm gonna give Zach Wilson a little bit of props right now because when you were watching the end of that Raiders Jets game, the dude was whipping the ball downfield
Yeah,
on the run, 50 yards, 60 yards, with like just not a lot, dude. On the run, just whipped it down 50 yards. That guy's got a cannon.
he does have.
Well, and then, I mean, if watching that, it wasn't really his fault they lost. They had
Oh,
lots of stupid penalties.
yeah,
And
yeah,
he had like 50 yards rushing.
but just to see the arm strength that kid has, that was amazing.
That was a nice throw. He
Yeah.
has
Like when you're on the run like that and you're just nonchalantly throwing the ball 60 yards.
he's got tools, he's got wheels. It's just he looks like he's 15.
Right.
Looks like he's 15 playing
He's
in
just,
the NFL. And you
he's
can
just not
play in New
smart.
York. You play in why do you can play in Arizona, he'd probably do better. I mean, he's got to play in New York. It's just not the right environment for him.
Yeah. Yeah, I just had to give him a little bit of props for the
Oh
arm
yeah, that's
that
a
that
nice
dude,
thing. And
the
Garrett Wilson almost came down. I was like, oh,
yeah.
he's gonna catch it.
I bet you guys were sweating it
Yeah.
because the fact that he was just putting it down on the goal line, like I was like, dude, he could have been running backwards, throw it over his head, still went to the end zone.
Yep.
So that was crazy. But yeah, that was good. Seattle at Los Angeles. Who we at here? I'll start here.
Mm.
I'll just go. See, I'm taking Seattle, even though it's in LA. Like Seattle's on a little bit of a run, finding themselves. They lost 2 weeks ago to the Ravens, which is a tough game, but they won 3 of the last 4. So I think Seattle has to battle for San Francisco here, and this is a must win for them. So if I'm Pete Carroll, and I think Pete Carroll's a great coach, you come in, you say you have to win this game, even on the road. So taking Seattle by 7.
We've got a swing game.
Oh,
Taking the Rams coming off a bye week. They're going to have healthy Stafford, healthy Nakua, healthy Cup, and Rams always play the Seahawks tough. Aaron Donald up the middle there. Geno Smith's not going to know what to do. I got the Rams in an upset by 3.
Yeah,
What do you think, Wes?
I got the Rams too. I think this is a trap for the Seahawks, and the Rams do play them tough. They've gotten healthy. I think they're going to come out. I think it's going to be a close game. I think the Rams by 4.
So it's a chance for me to catch up here. Derek, Minnesota at Denver.
Call me crazy. I'm taking the Broncos here.
It's
Even though
crazy.
we're talking about the Vikings on their win streak, it's in Mile High. Denver's favored by 2. Their defense is playing tough. I think Josh Dobbs comes back down to earth here. And Russell Wilson has not played bad this year. So I'm going to give Denver to win by 5.
I mean, it's 5 in a row for Minnesota and 6 of their last 7. That's tough.
Denver is just beating the Chiefs and the Bills.
Yeah.
I mean,
all right. What do you got? What do you got, Wes?
Dude, I've never seen Team John so mad at a game. I thought I disliked the Broncos. He was swearing up a storm at the end of the Bills game. He was so pissed. I'm like, damn, you hate the Broncos more than me. So of course, I'm going to take the Broncos because I agree with Derek. I saw a lot of good things. I hate to see them do good, but I saw the way they were running the ball. They're being physical. Defensively, they're better. Let's just say they could probably manage Dobbs. I say Broncos win by 3.
Oh man, I got the Broncos by 3 as well. I think Denver's defense is coming around, and Russell Wilson is playing some good football. He's throwing the
playing
ball
unlimited.
well. He is like he. I not that he's worth what they gave up for him, but he's looking like he might be a valuable asset to the team.
Well, I mean, I have to give him props. That throw to Sutton in the
Oh,
corner of the
it was
end zone.
amazing. It was an amazing throw.
Play. I was like, there's no way he's going to catch that.
But he's also not the overthrows what he was doing in the first year where he was throwing out of bounds, he was throwing 10 yards over. That's not happening anymore. Yeah, is he completing every pass? No, absolutely not, right? Nobody completes every pass, but it's not like there was no chance like it was year 1. Year 1, you might as well have thrown it to the cheerleader, you know? So he's playing a lot better. And I have to take Denver here at home. It might be the end of the Minnesota win streak.
And then the problem also is we have to watch Denver 2 weeks in a row on primetime.
Oh, no
What?
doubt.
Oh, back up.
It's Sunday Night Football.
What is it?
Sunday Night
Sunday night.
Football.
Oh no.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's what you
I'm
get.
sure Sierra set that one up, didn't she? Why would you ever put the Broncos? We've got to watch them too. Come on.
Well, here we go, though. Game of the week. And this is absolutely game of the week, I think. Wes, Philadelphia at Kansas City.
Oh. It's a rematch of Super Bowl 57. Freaking care. Where are they playing in Kansas City?
At Kansas City.
I don't care. I'm taking the Eagles. I'm so sick of Kansas City. Just so sick of the noise all the time. How many when did they make all these? Now I'm seeing these Andy Reid commercials. Like, come on, Andy.
Oh, right. Yeah.
Down some.
He looks like he loves chicken nuggets.
Chicken nuggies.
Chicken nuggets.
Yeah. It got the yeah.
Come on, though. That commercial is pretty funny, though.
Yeah, it's hilarious. Itches. So funny. Taking Eagles by 6. Revenge.
Oh man. I can't take the Eagles here. Kansas City at home and Taylor Swift. You gotta go with the Swifties. I'll take Kansas City by a field goal at home because the Swifties call for it.
The building. Elvis has left the building.
Okay. I'm going to do a public service announcement here for the HSC podcast. Wes's views do not. We are all for the Swifties.
Right.
Please don't.
We love the Swifties.
We love the Swifties.
And don't cancel us.
This is the Chunky Bowl.
Hey, I listen to Taylor Swift songs. How about that? I love the Swifties too. I'm talking about Travis Kelce here. Come on, man.
And yes. All right, so it's the battle of.
I just say I listen to Taylor Swift songs.
Yes. This is a battle of Taylor Swift's #1 Swiftie against the candidate for sexiest man of the year.
Oh no.
Jason Kelce.
Taylor Swift?
No, you didn't know this, Wes?
Jason Kelce.
Oh, that's fine. Yeah, he's cool. All right.
But yes, it's the cheat. I hate them. I hate them with all my passion. But can I bet against the Chiefs at home? No. Coming off a bye.
Oh. But Philadelphia's on a bye.
I know, but I mean, Andy Reid is the mad genius coming off of buys.
Yeah, he is.
So I'm taking Swiftie Nation here. I'm taking the Chiefs. I'm taking State Farm. I'm taking Chunky Soup. I'm taking
corporate America.
I'm taking
Yeah, you are.
Taking the Empire.
That's right.
Mahomes and Maato.
Yeah. I'm taking Pfizer. We're taking the big pharma companies.
All right.
We're going the Chiefs. Chiefs by 7.
Now I need a drink.
I thought I'd get a swing game here.
No, dude.
Not at home.
No, but Wes, you might lose another one here, so we'll see. Or you might gain one.
Going down the ship. I don't care. Let's go, Jalen Hurts.
Dude.
First time for Jalen Hurts. Let's go.
I actually think this is going to be a great Monday Night Football game, and I think it's. I'm happy that they scheduled this.
Well, after watching the Broncos, it's like I got to watch the Broncos and the Chiefs.
Yeah, exactly. I don't want to watch. I didn't want to watch the Bears on Thursday Night Football.
I didn't watch it.
It was horrible.
It was bad.
It was the hardest game to watch.
I know.
So
tank bowl too.
Put the 2 best teams or the 2 really good teams on Monday Night Football. So that's I'm okay with that.
Well, they totally redeemed themselves also because you have Bengals and Ravens on Thursday.
Right. So we got good games coming up this week, except the Denver Minnesota Sunday night. But I'll deal with that because there's other good games.
It might not be a bad game. It's just it doesn't sound good.
But they're actually both better than we think they are, right?
Because can we get a snow game? That's all I care about. I just like snow game. It's like, can we get a snow game this year?
So this is what bothers me about Thanksgiving, that Detroit always plays in a dome on Thanksgiving.
They used to play outside.
No, dude. Like Thanksgiving, this is like cold season, right? This is when you should be playing outside
on Thanksgiving.
Right.
Yeah, that's right.
That was awesome.
I remember watching that game. And
bothers me
Leon
to
Lett.
watch Detroit in a dome on Thanksgiving. It's not the team I want to watch.
could have a retractable roof so they could open it for Thanksgiving.
Right. At least open it up, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, it pisses me off that Detroit's a team that plays every year, and it's like, dude, you're playing in a dome.
Yeah, and then to top it off, they're playing the Packers.
Yeah.
Ugh.
Murder.
And then you got Commanders, Cowboys.
Yeah, not a
Ugh.
good.
But then the nighttime game, but when we're tired and want to go to sleep,
Yeah, you.
I'll be watching the Egg Bowl.
it's the Niners against the Seahawks.
Mississippi, baby.
The Egg Bowl, dude.
Egg Bowl.
Egg Bowl is the most underrated football game in all of football.
Can you imagine the tailgate for Egg Bowl?
Dude, the Egg Bowl is literally the most underrated game in all of football.
It is.
It is. Because nobody understands. These people will die for their teams.
They're playing on Thanksgiving. They're a college team playing on Thanksgiving. You know it's serious.
They could be playing in the middle of nowhere where nobody even knows, and they would still die for their teams. Like the Egg Bowl's one of the best football games ever. So here we go. I can't believe we're coming up on Thanksgiving already. That's crazy.
Man, it's weird. Really weird.
So we got a few swing games. Not bad. Not bad. Derek gained back 2 games. That might have put you in the lead.
Yeah, I think he is in the lead.
Maybe by a game. So
This is
I got some work to do.
This is where everyone thinks West is doing really good, and all of a sudden,
But let's talk about HSC Podcast fantasy football for a minute. Man, I'll tell you, I'm now down to 5-5. Lost four games in a row, dude. Big Mike's at 8-2.
He had, because I played him and I was all like thinking I might get a win here because he has no one playing. But he had Keenan Allen with 40 points.
you lost to a team that had 3 players not play.
I know, but he had 2 40-point players.
Oh, man. Yeah, I might even not even make the playoffs now.
It's all in US.
Yeah, it's a tough road right now. And there's not a whole lot of players on free agency now. But I had all of my Miami and Philadelphia on bye this week, so that hurt. But here we go. I think we got Big Mike at 7 or 8-2. Really? 8-2?
He's 8-2.
Wait a
Teams
minute.
7-3.
Is Big Mike, is he even changing his lineups?
No.
He has not changed his lineup. He was literally at my house yesterday, and I told him to change his lineup, and he didn't. And he's still 8-2.
He scored 128 points last week
with like 6 players. Oh man. Well, I mean that's where we're at, guys. It doesn't matter who you pick on your fantasy football team. Because Team John's 7-3.
Dude.
So the top 2 teams in our league didn't draft and didn't change their team any week for the whole year, and they're still
so bad
winning the league.
It's AI.
It's a little bit chat GPT.
Yep.
But at least Wes, you're 6-4, so you're almost there. You're right there.
Starting Stroud, man. Time to go.
Oh yeah. Well, Wes, if you win your fantasy football, that means you'll lose because I'm starting Jalen Hurts. So if I lose, it's because Jalen Hurts has a bad game. And then Big Pharma Pfizer Chunky Soup wins.
No, jeez.
Yeah, but I got him, so he's got to win. Well, I think the moral of the story here is that fantasy football, anybody can win.
Except Jill.
She's been replaced.
Yeah.
And then the replacement, he played well.
Geez.
I scared Jill off. She's gone.
Yeah. So Tom came in and scored 160 points. Well, but again, we'll see what happens. I don't think we're not looking good for a ring, but we'll see what happens.
Well, I think we need to talk about the fact that now Steve has lost to Team John, the Godfather, and Team Austin.
Right. I've lost 4 in a row. It doesn't matter. Like anybody's beating me right now.
Yeah.
I don't know
I
how you
have
go
to win all my
from-
games to have a chance now.
Yeah, but you were already bad.
You're
I
like
went from
the
I went from a 1-loss team to a 500 team.
See, the thing was, Steve, you came out and you were like, the Steelers when they were undefeated for the first 8 weeks. And then everyone realized they're not that good. And then they lost a bunch of games. My team was ravaged early by injuries and is just starting to come back.
Well, I think you got a long ways to go, dude.
I'm 2 games back.
And we'll see if you make it. All right, well, we're gonna wrap it up here. Thanks for listening. Don't forget to subscribe and like if you're watching on YouTube. Thanks for listening on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Anchor. Appreciate the listens. Final thoughts. College football, NFL. What do you guys got?
Yeah, let's see what happens here. Last week, 2 weeks in a row, it seemed like I'm like, oh, I think I'm going to have a good record here. And then a bunch of weird stuff happens that ends the game. So, man.
Washington to Oregon State. Who's the winner? What do you guys got?
One of the Pac-2 members, the Beavers.
Yeah, I'm going Beavers.
Beavers. I'm going Washington. We'll see how it wraps up. So thanks for listening, everybody. We'll see you next time.